Hey, NEA, welcome back to the NEA Content Podcast, sponsored by The Busy Bean. By the way, did you know we had a signature coffee there? That's right, the NEA Content Latte, an iced white cherry mocha with choco caramel drizzle and cold foam on top. Available at all 7 Busy Bean locations that are open 7 days a week to keep you buzzing. Best believe they are the bee's knees. Today, we get to talk to the CEO of Project Paragould, AA Construction, and the cultured man, Mr. Nate Archibald. Let's start the show. All right, so how you doing today, buddy? Welcome to the show.
I appreciate you having me here.
So you are a man of many titles and many skills, and where most people master one thing, that's their thing. You're able to master multiple things. How do you do that? What does your day-to-day life look like as a CEO of 5 or 6 companies?
So many things. Well, first it comes from my family being so patient with me. My main job is a carpenter. I've done that for almost 30 years now. And then I'm slowly getting out of that and turning into a full-time culture man, my business. But it's just as a growing experience, learning experience, I've learned that there's some things you just can't take care of, that you have to have support system. So I've learned over the past 10 years just to pass things off when I know that I'm getting overwhelmed. I think that's what makes you a good leader and a good owner of a business is, hey, somebody's better than me at this, so we all take care of this while I do this next part. So that's the main thing I've learned about being able to shuffle so many different things.
That's such an undervalued power move. And even if you can't afford it yet, it's like, hey, I can bring in a freelancer. If you can grow, here's a percentage.
Right. Oh,
some
definitely.
people, yeah, some people think they need to wait till they're $1 million company to do that, but it's like you're never going to be $1 million company until you do that.
Right. Or if you do, you've already wore yourself out.
Right.
And then you've missed so much part with your family and other life that you focus so much on your business that there's so much you've missed out. So
right.
Hand it off early.
100%. So give me your hero's journey from ground zero. Hey, I have this idea.
Okay.
I think I want to do this thing up until today.
Okay. Well, 14 years old, I started working with my dad in our family business, construction, and we did new houses, remodels, the whole works. And here we are almost 30 years later. And my dad decided that he was going to retire in 5 years. I have no desire to take over the construction company. So I was like, well, what can I do to get out of this? And I was like, I'll open a men's clothing store. So that's out of the blue, have no retail experience at all. My whole life I've done carpenter work. So that is how I got that. My wife being patient with me while I figured that out. But during that time, I was also doing a Project Paragould, which is a nonprofit I started just to help Paragould grow to be a better place to live and visit. And that one, revolves around citizens of Paragould just working together, just saying, hey, we can do this to make things better. But culture man is my main focus, and that's where I'm going to hopefully be in the next, for the next 20 years is running that business. Then other thing we've noticed as summer gets here that shopping drops off some. And so we're like, well, how can we fix this, make, things better? And that was to open the print shop or, screen printing business. And that's 870 print bar. I'm still trying to learn that. But hopefully that will offset the cost of slow January, June, and July. That's the slowest time to shop retail. And then the next business we've got going on is my wife's business. And I told her about 2 weeks ago, I was like, this is the last weekend for me to help you do this because I do have so much going on. I do need to focus on the things that I do want to see succeed. And that's the culture man and then the Project Paragould. So it's been a long process. It was hard. I've done very well doing carpenter work, building custom cabinets and things like that. So it was a step out of my comfort zone. Lots of learning, lots of ordering things, losing money on clothes that shrank and I had to throw back in the back room. Or, the thing I learned the quickest was you can't please everybody when it comes to clothing. I would order clothes, and one person would come in because they liked it. But it's a journey from the beginning to now. Everything's a learning experience, whether it's carpenter work or whether it is printing shirts out of the back of my store. But I wouldn't change anything. That's just how I go, and I go and I go. So
That's freaking awesome. Yeah, everybody we bring in here, we see a pattern how I'm like, you just got to do it. You've got to suck. You
yeah,
got to lose money.
yes,
That's your biz education
that's it.
101.
Yeah. And the thing is, people say, well, should I don't know if I should start this business or not. But you don't jump in it just blindly. Like you do research or whatever. But I would rather, and I told my wife this other day, I said, if my business shut down tomorrow, I would be disappointed. But at the same time, that's just part of it. I can literally shut it down and be okay and go to the next thing. That's just, I'd rather say I tried and succeeded for 2 years than say, oh, I should have done that.
So much better.
Yeah, for sure.
So much better. I'd rather this business fail 100 times over.
Oh yeah.
Then 50 years from now, I'd be like, man, I wonder what that idea
Right.
would have been.
And in Paragould, I'm the only men's clothing store. And as far as like true men's clothing store, I'm the only one in Northeast Arkansas. So my competition are bigger brands, I guess, around here. So I try to really tailor to that, saying, "Hey, come in. I want to know your name. I want to know your sizes. You want your shoes shine or whatever? Drop them off, or I'll run by your house and pick them up for you." So there is a huge aspect of Cultured Man that is a one-on-one, very personal oriented situation.
That's cool. I've been talking about this recently, and I think the local market in every area, even online, is about to get really big because I think a lot of people are tired of the big corporate kind of thing.
Right.
Even online, because it's easy to trust a business where the guy down the street.
Right.
Apart from a big corporate business. And I think that's about to be huge, even online.
Right.
And so with the shirts you're talking about and then the clothing, it sounds like you're also starting to figure out your target audience.
I am.
You can't please everyone, but if you niche down on this really tight scope.
Right. One of my brands, I'm gonna say their name on here, but
go ahead.
Burley Bow. They're out of Texas. And we know it was a couple of guys getting together and they made this clothing brand. That is one brand that will go, and no matter what your age is, you're going to love the brand. So I can have that on my shelves, whether you're 17 or whether you're 60, you're going to come in and love their brand. But I have learned, my audience, people coming in are not going to be the 17, 8-year-olds. I'm going to have more of the 30 to 50 or somewhere around there. And that's pretty much the style I like. It's, we're in Northeast Arkansas, so it's hard to say, hey, bring in all the very contemporary stuff. That's just not what sells around here. But yeah, definitely find who I am trying to buy for and focus on that and not branch out too much.
So as a local business owner with multiple, locations, you must have learned a lot of things the hard way, and you must have a lot of tips to share for a lot of other local entrepreneurs.
Yes, for sure. We were just talking about this off. There are like 2 weeks ago, I was talking about shutting down Culture Man. I'm still very new, to the retail business. And when I got into it, they're like, okay, the 3 J's, January, June, and July are going to be your roughest months because people are off for summer vacation. And January, Christmas, it just happened and everybody's broke. And 2 weeks ago, I was, wondering, should I even be open anymore? Because it drops tremendously. I looked at my percentage and I was down like 89% from the month before. And when you're a small business, that is a lot of finance that's not coming in. You still got your bills and you still got to bring in new merchandise to get the new customers and repeat customers. So that's really hard. Cause since you're not big enough and you don't have that big bank account that can take you through those slow months, you've got to really figure out the new ways, going online, have people shop online and shipping, stuff like that, which I'm horrible at. So, I've got something I've got to learn and that take my business to the next step is that, maybe hoping, talking to you about that. And, the Project Paragould, that's, like I said, it's donations 100%. I've got some big events coming up at the end of the year. And that, is total donations. And if things don't work out just right, it is tweaking everything, which I do enjoy that. I do like the pressure of go, go, go. It's called the Earthquake Festival. This will be our second annual one, and I almost thrive on that of things not going perfect. So hopefully everybody will kind of chime in on that, and I'll get the donations to cover that. The print bar, our screen printing business, I don't. It's not much pressure at all. I've got my brother-in-law's screen print, so anytime I struggle, I send them a text or call them like, "This is not working. What am I doing?" And that is the one business I don't worry if I fail at all. I will print shirts and have logos over one shirt every situation, every spot. But there are a lot of things. When I was first open culture man, I was ordering. They're called runs, and it would be like 4 smalls, 5 mediums, and so on and so forth. So by the end of the month, I'd have so many clothes stored up, and then so that's was just a waste of money. I don't have any inventory in the back of my building. To me, that's just money sitting that nobody's going to buy for whatever time. So now I'm down to ordering like maybe 1 small, 1 medium, 3, and so on and so forth. Because that is your money tied up. And if it doesn't sell, then you're just stuck with this clothing items. But everything is definitely a learning experience. I hate that I went through and lost money, but at the same time, if I didn't learn from that, I'd be losing more money right now. So, and I've reached out, to quite a few people, and just recently, I've had a lady reach out to me and my wife both, asking about starting a business and being in downtown Paragould and how that would work out. And so, I guess I've done enough in the community that people do, find it comfortable to talk to me, which I do. I love that. I don't have all the answers, and I told her, I was like, this is what I would do, and this is what I wouldn't do. But definitely use people around you who have already been through those hard times and don't make the same mistakes as they did.
Right. I think networking is some of the most valuable things I've done so far. And with a digital agency, it's easy to hide behind a laptop
Right.
for the first 2 years.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
And even as an online business, getting out and talking to people in the community has made me a lot of money.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Compared to the start, wow. And yeah, networking is huge. Right. And the Project Paragould has to be a good networking tool too, right?
It is. And that when it first started, it wasn't going to be a nonprofit. It was just going to be me and my family. And what we were doing, we were driving around town one day, and I'm from Paragould. I grew up there and was born there. And it was to the point that I was like, either something's got to change in Paragould, or I move my family out. I mean, that was just me being honest with myself. And it was like, why do I complain about it? I don't do anything. So it was literally one day, it's like, we're going to spring clean your street. Your goal is just to clean your street up. And that's how it started. And slowly people were like, well, hey, can we do donations for this or that? And it's amazing that people want to be on board. At the same time, people don't want to give money. They want things to change. And, we see this a lot on Facebook and stuff. People like to complain about certain things, but nobody does anything to change it. And that was my mindset. It's like, I'm going to do something in Paragould to make things better. We've built a station park downtown. It's just a community park you can go sit and talk to. We're fixing to expand it and put a playground in the back of it. But it's donations. So we'll see how many people are behind that in the growing part of Project Paragould.
That's awesome. Okay. Think for a few seconds.
Okay, yeah.
I have a lot of ideas coming, but I'm like, should I bring them up during the podcast or should I talk after?
You bring them up and cut them out if you need to.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead then.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So I've actually seen a few online clothing businesses, and I really dig what you're doing because I think a lot of people our age are tired of dressing like kids.
Yes. Right.
A lot of people are following people like Jordan Peterson.
Right.
With the wave of entrepreneurs, there's also a wave of gentlemen coming back.
Definitely.
While there's nothing wrong with wearing basketball shorts and t-shirts, I think, dressing nice is just coming back because it's just great for your mind, to take care of yourself. But I've seen a few online businesses do this thing where it's a monthly subscription.
Yes.
Where you get an outfit once a month or twice a month.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I've got that.
Oh, you do?
It's called a box of culture. And
I thought I did my homework.
Yeah, no. And so I haven't pushed it a lot because it's still new, fairly new. I've got a couple of subscribers to it. we have different tiers of things. If you want to do clothing, if you want to do, I can do like colognes. If you want to do colognes, if you want to do shave your head, stuff for shaving. So I've
New
got.
thing for me.
Oh, we can do whatever we need to.
Got tired of
But
balding, man.
I
Had to
do
go.
agree with you 100%. There comes a point to where the way you dress does make you feel better. And with the company I told about earlier, Burley Bow, their shorts are very thin. They resemble basketball shorts, but they have belt loops on it, and it makes a huge difference when these have snaps and belt loops, and you can dress down and dress up with them. But when I first opened Culture Man, my idea was to bring back suits and sports jackets and dress pants. It just happened to be right after COVID.
Right on.
And nobody was going to work anymore. Everybody was at home. So it was back down to dressing down the shorts and the t-shirts and things. But I'm slowly going back. We do offer custom suits. And I think I did 12 last year, and I've already done 5 this year. So I think things are coming back. People are wanting to dress up more and finding reasons to dress up. In Jonesboro being right here, there's more reasons. Hey, let's get dressed up and go eat somewhere nice. I think, not just for men, but women enjoy that. They know their husbands are going to go and do something more than jeans and a t-shirt. It's like, oh, I can do a short sleeve button up shirt and khaki pants or some chinos. So that's definitely coming back. And I think it's their point to where, as we get older, we do age out of the super casual basketball shorts and things like that.
Yeah, and if you're an introvert like me, which I'm originally an introvert, I had to mold into whatever the heck this is to be a CEO. You got to do that kind of thing. And I got to say, dressing, if you're an introvert and you're terrified of talking to people, if you could, learn how to dress well, throw on something nice. You don't have to spend a bunch of money if you can't. But if you can do that, that is your superhero cape.
It is.
You go from feeling like somebody that doesn't want to leave the house to the CEO of SpaceX.
Right.
Just huge amounts of confidence.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Right.
And something I've noticed is I had my first 3-piece suit. I bought it, and it was custom fit, and it changed literally. You put the jacket on, and it literally changes how you think.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that on so many different YouTube things. It's like, oh, you think differently, and you do. You think higher of yourself, not in a bad way, not egotistical, but you're like,
right.
There is something about putting this on, you feel different. And even if you don't want to go that far, a sports jacket, it's the simple things that make you feel better. I was not outgoing in high school. I was that one kid that was friends with everybody, but I wasn't going to go and do things. It wasn't until I was 23 that I started coming out of my shell.
Right.
And then you just find out you have to. That's just part. That's just part of running the business. You've got to be outgoing. You got to be friendly. And your business is not like 10 to 6. It's from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed. Whoever you meet is a potential, customer or client. So you've got to be comfortable with what you're wearing, and you will hardly ever find me. As a matter of fact, I don't think I have a pair of basketball shorts anymore. I will always, dress semi-nice.
You got to live the brand.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And I'm working on the Culture Man brand too, as well. So I'm hoping that will come out, this year sometime. One thing I've noticed too that are coming back are watches. People are getting away from the Apple Watch, the smart watches, and going back to watches. Just I wish I do that. I do some battery swapping and stuff like that with my store. But people are going to those, just back to the old school watches, and I think it's. I had a guy who brought one in. He was going to a big meeting. He's like, I don't want to wear my Apple Watch. He's like, I want to be different. I want to show, there's something about this meeting that I take professional. So it's the little things as you get older and you start realizing that it's not just basketball shorts, jeans. Now, one thing that's really, bothering me as an owner of a Culture Man is, dark jeans have made their way into everything, whether it's the weddings or funerals. That's the dress. You can wear dark jeans. I don't know. I think that time has passed, and it's time to go back to wearing, dressing back up.
So even with a clothing brand, something really really interesting that I think is super valuable with any kind of business
Right.
is like I have this product and a lot of times people are trying to just sell a product. And even when you're selling clothes, it's like if you can turn it into a place where I'm selling the way you feel when you dress properly.
Right.
I'm selling confidence.
Mhm.
I'm selling that success at your new meeting because you're going to love
Right.
the way you look
Right.
and feel. And you guys are definitely capturing that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
You know, I think we talked about it earlier,
Right.
and dressing up does make you feel different, makes you feel more confident. I think one thing that I really strived when I first opened, and this is something I still do occasionally, is if somebody comes in and they are leaning towards, let's say, the chino pants and the short sleeve button up shirt, I do take note of that, like a literal note, just by under my cabinet. Um, your name, I'll just give with your size and stuff like that. And then as I get more clothes in, if you're really comfortable wearing something, I will give you like I'll text you, hey, I've got this shirt in. I think you're really gonna like it. And I think that's one of the biggest keys is once you find something comfortable, don't be afraid to stay in that little circle. In a sense, like if you like a short sleeve button up shirt, go all out. Have 4 or 5 of them that you're going to go to, and because like blue on blue, red on red, that's all normal stuff. And if you're already comfortable wearing a short sleeve button up shirt, which a lot of guys aren't, a lot of guys are very, they don't like the way it looks on them or whatever. Um, but once you start that, stay in there and branch off. Like if you're wearing khakis, a short sleeve button up shirt, and tennis shoes, well, change it to chinos and maybe some slip ons. That so each individual person is pretty much I'm dressing that person's mindset, I guess, what it would be. And once I find a brand for somebody, I make sure to look for them specifically with that brand. So if you come in, you're like, hey, I like this PX shirt. Well, next time I go out, I won't think of you personally, but okay, will he like this one? And then I'll may send you a text of it or a picture of it. But I try to dress each person, especially if it comes in a lot. I've got customers who come in twice a month, and they're looking for the next outfit. But is that kind of what you wanted to know?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I don't think a lot of people do that with their email list or their SMS list. When I go through looking through the community and I'm kind of looking over everyone's social media pages, next to everyone's name on my list, I have notes.
Right.
I've done my homework on all of them.
Right.
So when I reach out, I already can see some problems. I already understand some
Right.
things.
Yeah.
So as a local business, that's something that, local people do really well. Not only do they have a list, but they know all of them personally. Right. And when something comes up, they can check their notes.
Oh, definitely.
So everyone may not be getting the same email every month. There may be,
right.
A few separate newsletters for a certain style.
Right.
That's really cool.
That's one thing I struggle with still, is that reaching out, quarterly or whatever, saying, hey, are you still liking this product? Are you still, because, the ones who are my repeat customers, I do want to make sure that they're happy with whatever's in my store. And I don't mind adjusting things for customers who are coming in. So if, for instance, if a soap is not selling well, and I've got a customer who I truly trust, I may reach out and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And if they say no, I will pull it off of my shelf. I rely just as heavy on my customers' reviews as they do on me picking the right clothes for them. So it's definitely a give and take and a huge trust with my people that come in the store.
That's awesome. So you kind of have some testers that you keep in mind sometimes, maybe before you even order things, like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that?
Oh, for sure. In the boxer culture too, one of the biggest things is I will order random items off of where I order my clothes from, and you may get an item that won't even make it to my store because I may say, hey, what do you think about this? And you may be like, yeah, I'll wear it. I don't know about the next guy. Well, then I may not order it at all. Or you may be the first one who gets the item out of my store because you have great reviews, and then I'll do it. So I mean, there are things that soaps I've tried, face washes, and then if people like it, then I'll bring it in. If they don't, then they won't ever see the inside of Culture Man.
That's such a streamlined way to organize like how much money you're spending,
Mm-hmm.
to keep your profits good. It's a good way to avoid bringing in stuff no one will
Yes.
have. And some people are getting things that are never going to be in the store because that is like their thing.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
that
No,
is super
I
cool.
do disc golf, for my store too. So if you pick, an outdoor box, we even have that option. I mean, you may get a disc that I won't carry in my store. I may order like the new release, and you'll get it in your box, and then I won't order it anymore, just because that's what specifically you want, and it just works out that way.
That's super interesting. So the Cultured Man it's not just a clothing store. It's like having someone in your closet
Yeah.
that is like, "Hey, I got some new stuff.
Right.
Here you go.
Right.
Hey, this would look best for you.
Right.
Yeah, I got your stuff just came in." That's really cool.
Mhm.
So do you have a way? I'm sorry,
No,
dude.
you're good. You're fine. Keep on. Let's just keep going. The video will be good.
This place is haunted. I swear. It's okay. All right. So that's a really innovative way to run a men's clothing store. And I have to say, so in the beginning, clothing wasn't your thing. It was just like, hey, I see an opportunity.
Right.
And there is a really good opportunity because I don't know which I'm sure you've been in other places.
Oh, yes.
The women's store is like 90%
right
of the place. And like the men's stuff is
Right.
over here in the corner.
Right. I tried the opposite with my store.
Oh, yeah?
I tried to do like the small section of women's clothing in my store, or like whatever, and it just didn't work. It didn't work. So I was like, well, I tried it, and just focus all of them in. It's just easier,
Right?
Because I can't figure out women. I live with 3 of them. So.
They got that covered.
Yeah, definitely,
sure.
definitely.
There are plenty of places to go shop for women's clothes.
Yeah, for sure. We haven't had a men's clothing store in Paragould in over 20 years. And it was called Tim's Menswear, and it was my first charge account, and that's just where we all went. And then after he moved, and then that was it. Everybody's go-to was to come to Jonesboro to the mall or Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you get to go to Memphis, but it was just that's what it was. And like we talked about earlier, you get into bigger stores and you do lose that relationship with whoever's helping you doing that. Well, they're going to show you, hey, here are these jackets, and that's just what it is. Where you come into my store and I'm like, well, this jacket's going to fit you like this, or we can order you a slim one if you're smaller. So there is a big difference, in like you said, the smaller business and the local businesses versus the huge markets. But
so you're really cranking on like the futuristic ways to run a company too. That's really interesting. Are there other stores? Are there other big brand online stores or local stores or national stores that you kind of got some of these ideas from?
The keeping up with what like a customer, what their size. I got that. I think it was from somebody in Tennessee. I went and looked at a store and was just talking to the owner, and she's like, "This is what I do." And it was a women's store. She's like, "But I know what their sizes are." And when they walk in, or if their husband walks in, they'll be like, "What should I get my wife?" And you pull the card out, like, "Well, they're a size large, and they're like this." I did a lot of talking to people. I went outside of the state to places that I liked, and I liked how it looked inside. As a big key too. If my goal was when I opened Culture Man was when you walk into Culture Man, you're not walking to a store in Paragould. You're walking into somewhere, a different state. I wanted that feeling. So I just took bits and pieces off of everybody, things I liked. I tried some things I did like, and it just didn't work. But the Culture Man, my goal was to, if a senior in high school came in and they're like, "Hey, I've got to have a white shirt and a pair of black pants for work," they could come in and buy that $20 white shirt and $40 pair of pants. Or if the CEO came in, it's like, "I need a custom suit." I'm like, "Well, let's get you measured. Let's get your fitting suit brought in, And so that option's there no matter what, no matter where you are in your life. I want to be able to make sure to dress you according to what you can afford. Um, so that was the biggest thing I learned from the 4 businesses. I can't remember their names right now. That was their goal too. And I was like, that's perfect. That's what I want. For anybody who comes in to feel comfortable coming in my store, and whether you want to spend, $30 on a coat, or if you want to spend 150, I've got them in there, and it's going to look good on you, whichever one you pick. So
That's awesome. So, are there any other businesses you want to talk about today?
Um, I do want to really, as we started growing the print shop, um, it's called A70 Print Bar,
Mm-hmm.
and it's me and my wife, my mom, and my 2 girls. My the oldest daughter is 16, and my youngest daughter is 7. We have her folding shirts.
So it's like a good down
it
home
is. It's
family
yes.
biz.
I mean, and like I said, we're not in a hurry to do things. So if you want something printed, you got to be like, hey, we're like 8 months out. Let me know way ahead of time. And then of course my wife's business. That's something that she has relied on me a lot, and I have warned her about certain things. Like, hey, once you start a business, you've got to be all in. And I remember right before she opened a month ago, I was like, this is your last weekend off ever, owning the business. You just
Mhm.
have got to be completely engulfed into your business. So, just do what you need to do and come visit us at Culture Man, or, help us with Project Paragould and building Paragould and Appalachia downtown Paragould. So,
That's such an original idea too. Gourmet apples.
yes,
And it is
definitely.
killing it. You guys
It
are
is.
crushing it over there.
Yeah, she started at home under the cost called was called the Cottage Food Act.
Mhm.
So she was dipping them at home. When she hit some things happened, and she had to stop doing it for a while, and then some new things passed, and finally she's like, I'm just going to open a business. She's like, I think I'll get more business with walk-ins than anything. And she goes through about 300 apples in the 3 days she's open. But it's a lot of work. I mean, she works Monday through Saturday, and Saturday we do homemade cinnamon rolls in the morning on Saturday mornings. But she's a hard worker, and she's doing better than what I would do.
She's killing it.
She is.
No, those cinnamon rolls. Let me tell you about them cinnamon rolls. They look freaking amazing.
They are. That's at 4 o'clock on Saturday morning. We make them fresh on Saturday morning. So it's a labor of love, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. You gotta love it.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the Paragould market so far? And are you planning on coming to Jonesboro?
So I have been asking the Jonesboro. I had a realtor get in touch with me about that. Maybe in the future. I know that the demographic is definitely different here than it is Paragould. And the market in Paragould it's such a wide range. I've got people who come in and won't come in my store because the first mannequin you see may be one with a fedora. Like, no, this is not my style. But one of the biggest things that somebody told me was, if you can make it in Paragould, you can make it anywhere. And I didn't understand that at first. I'm like, I'm not understanding what that means. But you got the customers who come in and who don't look at the amount on the ticket at all, on the tags.
Should we start that over?
That's up to
What
you.
a freaking jerk.
That's up to you. That is up to you. This is like you need to have like a raw. This needs to be raw.
Yeah, you know what?
This is it.
You're right. I'm keeping it.
Yeah,
I'm keeping all this. We're in here talking, and somebody's like, "Get out of the road! I'm walking here."
We have the guy honking, and we got the fly at the studio, right?
Jesus.
So
Christ.
no, I mean, but
No, I love
definitely if you have people who come in that never look at tags, never. They come in, they see what they like, they grab it. Which is great. I love those customers. They say, "Hey, let me know when something's new." They come in, they grab again, and it's like, "Oh, well, I made my sales for the week in one day." You got those ones who save up money, who are very cautious. What they come in, they want to buy certain things. They're looking for a pair of jeans. That's great. Here's what we have. You got the ones who come in, they're like, "Well, this is not Walmart at all, and I can't afford any of this." And I understand. We've all been there. And they're not my clientele. I would love to have them, come in and say, okay, hey, you don't have to look at the $150 pair of pants over here, which I don't have any. But instead, we have these $60 pair of pants. And your quality is going to last so much longer than you go to the big box store and buying a pair that's you're going to wash. And after 2 months, you're going to have little holes everywhere. So it's just figuring that out, and I think I don't have Paragould figured out yet, but at the same time, I do know, I can't bring in the huge fedoras, um, or the big hats. Ties don't sell, but in Jonesboro, I could see people leaning towards that, which would let me my creative process go and say, "Hey, let's try this kind of stuff. Let's get this, the slimmer pants in." Um, so Jonesboro's not out of the picture, but I do know that when I opened my business, I didn't borrow near enough money, and I now have my house totally. I've borrowed against my house twice now to start two businesses. So it would need to be a Paragould would need to be very profitable before I was able to come in here, and because I do want whatever atmosphere wherever I go, the atmosphere to be the same, and it would be to upgrade the next and upgrade the next to where I could go back to Paragould and then make it to really what I really wanted to see Paragould, when I opened up to begin with. Um, so yeah, I mean, I could see at some point come to Jonesboro, or I've had family ask about coming to Texas and open it up. So of course, I think as a business owner, you do want to be everywhere.
Right.
So, and then as far as that goes back to being able to shop online and shipping stuff out of your store, which like I said, I can't do that. I don't do that. Don't know how to do that. So that would be the next process. I think as far as expanding before I did the Jonesboro would be figuring out getting my website great, be able to ship from there, because I still want that same personal with my customers from out of town. I've got a guy who comes in about once every, I don't know, 4 months from Memphis, and he buys soap. That's it. He comes to my store just for the soap. Nothing else. He doesn't shop for anything else. He comes in, turns left, gets the soap, and he says, "This soap's great. I'll be back later for more." He buys like 7 bars of soap. So, I mean, it's things are out there. People know about me, in different places. And I guess just being confident and having that financial piece that I can say, okay, it's time to go somewhere else and open another one.
Yeah, dialing in your local market is another undervalued thing. Like when someone is marketing something very hard and no one's coming in, it's like sometimes the economy is just not doing great.
Oh, right. Oh, definitely.
Keep adjusting your marketing, keep adjusting your target scope. That's sometimes with marketing, it takes 3 months of running a campaign until you dial it in.
Right.
So a lot of people will stop after the first or second month. Like, this didn't work.
That's me.
I'm just not going to market at all.
And I'm horrible about it.
Right.
I am the most, I will go and I will post for a week straight on Facebook and Instagram. I'm talking pictures 4 or 5 times a day. And then I'll go silent for like 2 months. And then all of a sudden and I think that's so important, because even I told one of my workers, he's graduated now, and I said, even if you post the same shirt 5 times a month, at least somebody's seeing it out there. I mean, that's what commercials are. If you're seeing the same commercial over and over and over, they don't change it. I was like, it's just being out there, and like I'll see viewers now from Paragould, Jonesboro, Tennessee, Texas. I've got family in California, so they share stuff. But if you're not posting and if you're not out there, there's no way for people to see what you're offering. And then, of course, growing bigger is you're limiting how big you can grow by not posting stuff. So
definitely. At one point, it was a good leg up to be active on social media, and now it's a requirement.
Oh, definitely.
And you've got to be consistent, and you got to understand each platform. Which I'm sure you have by now.
I don't know. I think you're giving me too much credit there. I'll be honest with you. As far as social media goes, I thought I had it down, and then I do look at another business downtown Paragould, and she's got it figured out, and I'm like, I don't know if she's paying somebody or if she does it on her own. But I do like a lot. I mean, that's something that I need to really work on, or work with somebody on to get better at, for sure.
The thing with social media is like, Facebook is almost more of a marketplace these days. Like if I'm about to walk into a business, I want to check them out on Facebook.
Oh, right.
And it's like, are they open? Are there pictures of the inside of the store? Like, are they clean?
Right.
Are they consistent? Did COVID shut them down?
Right. Oh yeah.
You know, that's what Facebook is. Like, if you can post twice a day forever and automate it, people come to your Facebook page. Are they like, are these my people? Yes or no? You know, and that's where a lot of folks stress over likes and shares and comments, and it's like, that's just not important. You know,
Right.
Your Facebook page is either turning people away or bringing them in.
Right.
You know, that's what that is. And then you got TikTok and Instagram now, and they are crushing it. Are you on TikTok?
I'm on TikTok. I have TikTok, but it's one of those ones I just haven't.
I had to warm up to TikTok because I wasn't sure yet. You know, even as a digital marketer, I'm like, China twerking. I don't know.
Well, you know, I mean, over the years, you know, when Facebook was the thing, that's where everything happened.
100%.
And then Instagram was the thing. That's where everything happened. And then it went to TikTok. I think each one does, you know, the older people generation, you know, rely heavily on Facebook.
Right.
I think if I ever, you know, was able to, you know, expand even in Paragould, I would have to go to TikTok and make better use of it. I mean, even Snapchat. I mean, my daughter's on Snapchat watching videos all the time. So it's just understanding each one and who the audience is, and you know, the 20 seconds or whatever it is they watch now. Versus the 15-minute.
Yeah.
You know, stuff.
The outreach on TikTok is absolutely insane. You know, it's great. And the thing about Facebook and TikTok, Instagram is like, I understand what age group is on Facebook, right? I understand what age group is on TikTok, but you know, if you can learn how to leverage each one the right way, it's like this 45-year-old dad is going to bring his son in and buy $500 worth of clothes because his son saw that stuff on TikTok, told his dad, and then his dad checked you out on Facebook. And so
exactly right.
It's like a well-oiled machine when you get it right.
If you can win over, if your audience is the younger people, if you can win them over, they're going to tell their parents.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, well, let me look on Facebook and see what it's about. That's exactly right.
Yeah,
for sure. I never thought about it until you said it. I was like, wait a second, that makes so much sense. It shows you how important TikTok and Instagram are. So.
Yeah, and the cool thing about social media is being able to automate it.
Okay.
Right. That's something we do at NEA Content. And this isn't a sales pitch.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
This is perfect. This is perfect.
Just to help everybody out. This is the cool part of the podcast where I get to help people too, which is really cool. But yeah, what we do is like, and for ourselves especially, it's like I'll just spend a month or so building all my content for the year, or I'll pay someone else to do it.
Right.
And then I'll automate it. So if I get hit by a bus today, my pages are still
going to come out.
You know, posting.
Right.
And it's like, hey, I got this thing. And it's like, Anthony died like a year ago. He just posted on Facebook yesterday, you know? And so
he's still relevant.
And so that's our big thing is like build everything, automate it, and then do your thing with your business.
Right.
Your employees don't have to post on social media twice a day.
Right.
And then some people will actually pay their employees a little more to post on social media every day. And so there's a lot of things. Sometimes it's a little bit of both. Sometimes it's one thing or the other.
Right.
But I think automating social media is the way to go. And then do TikTok as actual daily stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's easy to pull out a phone and talk for a minute, not just about clothes, but different styles. You know, hey, you got a meeting coming up here. Like, here's an outfit that I think would fit, you know, someone in their late 30s, right? That's another thing really cool too, is dialing in like to a really specific audience.
Gotcha.
And maybe not everyone, but like for this outfit, you know.
Okay.
And so that's really cool too. Social media is like my thing. I'm sorry, I could just totally nerd out all day.
Yeah, go for it.
You're like, do your thing.
Just do it. Yeah, I've had my chance. Now you go for it.
Well, man, it was a blast bringing you on today.
I appreciate you.
And I'm looking forward to helping you out with a few of your local businesses too. You know, that's our thing. That's what we nerd about all day long.
I will definitely take full advantage of it for sure.
All right. So despite, you know, the flies flying around the office and the road rage going on outside, I had a blast.
I did tell you.
It was good to meet you, man.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, NEA, wherever you are, wherever you're listening from, I hope you're having a great day and a great Father's Day weekend coming up. Before I go, I got to give out a quick shout out to my guys over at NEA Content and the new service they're building for websites. I'm talking about TestWeb, the Tesla of website creation. These guys are building amazing new websites and turning them into something that turns visitors into new customers and making those customers come in more often with great deals and automated newsletters and blog posts. And anytime something happens, anytime you let somebody go and you need something edited, if your branding changes, your logo changes, these guys stay on top of that website. And it is something that is becoming a load off your mind. And not only is something floating around the internet forever, this is a digital business card that sells your branding, converts visitors into customers, and brings them more often, all on autopilot while you get to do what you do best. All right, NEA, have a good day. And again, have a wonderful Father's Day weekend, all the dads out there. See you, NEA.